Hello everybody and welcome into the Michigan High School Girls Soccer Ranking Show on the National Soccer Network alongside Dan Stickrat. I'm Patty Cesarini and welcome into our Week 6 show. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, sending you all the love out in the world on your very special day today. So here's a little present for you guys too. We're going to have this be a nice quick and condensed version of our Week 6 rankings, just so we can get through everything and you can get back to your Mother's Day festivities. So with that being said, we're jumping right into our Division 4 Week 6 rankings. Go ahead, take a look at what is up on your screen. We will start, per usual, with number 15. So coming in at 15, Kalamazoo Hackett Catholic Prep, Byron Center Zion Christian, Madison Heights Bishop Foley, Auburn Hills Oakland Christian, Harbor Springs at 10, Adrian Lenawee Christian, Saginaw Novell Catholic Central, Clarkston Everest Collegiate, Plymouth Christian, Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett at 5, North Muskegon, then Kalamazoo Christian, Leland, Royal Oak Shrine, and coming in at number 1 this week is Muskegon Western Michigan Christian. Now remember, all of these rankings come from the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association. And Dan, I think the big highlight for Division 4 this week, Royal Oak Shrine. They got bumped out thanks to Muskegon Western Michigan Christian.
Well, Muskegon Western Michigan Christian is an independent. They're 8-3-2 overall, but 4-2-2 against ranked teams this year. But you look at a lot of those ranked teams are Division 3 and Division 2, so the Warriors of Muskegon Western Michigan Christian taking over that top spot. You look at why Royal Oak Shrine slipped to number 2. They had a 1-1-1 week. They lost to the Division 3 Ann Arbor Green Hills 3-1. They tied Detroit Country Day, another top 5 Division 3 school, 1-1. But they did defeat North Muskegon, which is ranked 5th this week. Beat them 4-1 on the road in North Muskegon here just yesterday. Elsewhere up and down those rankings, Leland 8-2-1 overall. 5-0 in that Northwest Conference. They've kind of dominated that league in recent years. They're not as high scoring as they have been in recent years, but they still have a 29-7 scoring edge and 5 shutouts. So the Comets, one of those many teams that are looking to clinch a league championship this week. Plymouth Christian is 10-3-2 overall. They slotted up 3 spots there at number 7. They're trying to defend their Michigan Independent Athletic Conference crown. They're 5-0-1 in second place. Now, they're behind Allen Park Intercity Baptist, which has not been ranked all year. Intercity Baptist is actually 10-0-0, 6-0-0 in that league. And then Auburn Hills Oakland Christian is 4-1-1. So it'll be very interesting last week and a half of the regular season to see which one of those 3 teams comes away with that conference championship.
Yeah, it's getting down to the wire here. That is for sure. But now we're going to move into your Division 3 Week 6 top 15 teams. So go ahead, take a look at what is up on your screen. Coming in at 15, we have Ann Arbor Green Hills, then Armada, Williamston, Warren Regina, and then Grand Rapids Western Michigan Aviation Academy. At 10, Traverse City St. Francis, Fremont, Pontiac Notre Dame Prep, Grand Rapids Catholic Central, Milan at 5, then is Frankenmuth, Brooklyn Columbia Central, Detroit Country Day, Grosse Ile, and at number 1 is Essexville Garber. Now the top 3 in the top 15 have stayed the same from last week into this week. Your teams that are out of the top 15 rankings, Flint Powers Catholic, Bad Axe, and the teams that are in are Armada and Ann Arbor Green Hills. Your honorable mentions: Freeland, Standish Sterling, Almont, Wixom St. Catherine, and Howard City Tri-County, for a total number of changes in Week 6 for Division 3, Dan, at 10.
We'll take a look at Grand Rapids West Michigan Aviation Academy, one of the longest names in all of the state of Michigan. 5-0 in the Alliance League. They've outscored their opposition 55-16 with 10 shutouts. And I'll note that I do not believe Aviation Academy has ever won a conference championship. That is a program that's kind of dented these rankings the last 2 or 3 school years, and they are looking to snare a conference championship. You look at Lucian Popescu's Ann Arbor Green Hills side. We mentioned them just a few minutes ago. They knocked off Royal Oak Shrine in that Catholic High School League Double-A division. The Gryphons 39-4 scoring edge. Coach Popescu, his teams always are a defensive-minded squad, defense first, and they are putting that together on the soccer pitch, one of the top teams in the Catholic League. I'll mention Fremont's having their best season in a long time. They're 13-2-1. They sit just behind Ludington and North Muskegon, which was ranked in Division 4 in that West Michigan Conference. They have a 69-11 scoring edge. So Fremont playing very well. There's still 3 teams in that conference race. Again, Ludington, Fremont, and North Muskegon are the only teams that could actually win that conference here in the final last couple of weeks. Armada is their new sheriff in town up in the Blue Water Area Conference. Tigers are playing very good soccer this year, 58-15 scoring edge. And they've only given up 7 goals in the last 14 games. So the Tigers of Armada looking to win their first BWAC title in several years, and they are playing some very inspired soccer down the stretch.
Mm-hmm. And Dan, we've said, you know, in last week's show and even now into this week, we're not going to see a whole lot of changes, new teams or anything like that. It's pretty much going to stay the same group of, you know, your top 15 teams, just shuffling around those standings ever so slightly. But what I think is interesting about our Division 3 list this week is that the top 3 have literally just stayed in the same exact spot. You know, what can you expect out of those 3 teams moving forward here? Are you seeing or are you expecting or predicting any changes out of that?
I don't know if there'll necessarily be any changes. Those teams in recent years have done very well. Detroit Country Day won a state championship 4 years ago. They've been to a multitude of Final Fours, but they played independent schedule. Country Day has never been bashful while going out and playing Division 1 and Division 2, some of the top Division 3 teams of the state. Grow Seals, again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. They're with Milan in Division 2, New Boston Huron. The Huron League has just got significantly more competitive in recent years. There was a time where Grow Seals used to dominate that conference. Now there's 4 or 5 good teams in both girls soccer and boys soccer. So that will go down to the last week. New Boston Huron leads the Huron League right now. Grow Seal and Milan just behind them. So we'll see who ends up winning that overall conference championship in that league.
Yeah, we'll see how everything shakes out. Now, thank you, Dan. First and foremost, thank you, Dan. And now we're going to move into our Division 2 Week 6 rankings. And just, again, a quick reminder that all of these rankings come from the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association. So want to shout them out. Thank them for all their hard work throughout these past 6 weeks and more to come in the future. But now let's get down to business. Let's check out your Division 2 rankings. So coming in at 15, Battle Creek, Harper Creek. Ada Forest Hills Eastern, Middleville, Thornapple Kellogg, Goodrich, Mason at 10, Stevensville Lakeshore, then DeWitt, Grand Rapids Forest Hills Northern, Otsego, Grand Rapids Forest Hills Central at 5, Grand Rapids South Christian, New Boston Huron, Richland Gull Lake, Birmingham Marion, and at number 1, Hudsonville Unity Christian. Dan, my burning question for you out of this group is, does Hudsonville Unity Christian have what it takes moving from Division 3 now into Division 2 as we get to the end of the season?
Absolutely. They've been in the top 25 nationally, United Soccer Coaches top 25 national rankings, and there's 17 states. A lot of coaches on the west side that I've spoken to in the last month on the phone have said that Unity Christian is the most talented team in all of the state of Michigan. Being that said, upsets do happen. They will have to run a gauntlet to get back to the Final Four and actually get to the state championship. You look at Division 2, most of the top 15 teams, honorable mentions, they come from that Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Kalamazoo corridor. All within an hour of downtown Grand Rapids, up and down that list. I mean, New Boston Huron's one of the few that isn't from the west side. DeWitt is from Lansing. Goodrich is up by Flint, but most of these teams, they're from that area of the state.
And I also wanted to mention the teams that are out for Division 2, East Grand Rapids and Farmington Hills Mercy. The teams that are in were Ada Hills, Forest Hills Eastern, Battle Creek, Harper Creek, and then your honorable mentions, Holly, East Grand Rapids, Spring Lake, and Bay City, John Glenn, for a total number of changes at 10. But now let's move into our last segment, moving into our Division 1 Week 6 top 15 rankings. So coming in at 15 is Brighton, then Ann Arbor Skyline, Romeo, Byron Center, Heartland at 10, Troy, Midland, Rochester Adams, Troy Athens, Utica Eisenhower at 5, Portage Central, Rochester, Rockford, Bloomfield Hills, and then Saline. No teams in or out. Your honorable mentions: Muskegon Mona Shores, Midland Dow, Lake Orion, Northville, Grand Haven, Traverse City West, for a total number of changes at 7. Now, similar, the top 4 teams in Division I have stayed exactly where they were last week.
And Bloomfield Hills at number 2, they've clinched at least a tie for that Oak Activity Association Red Division Championship after Lazar and Andover merged in 2013. Bloomfield Hills only won one OAA Red, so they have won at least a tie. Troy Athens down at 7th is the only team that can mathematically catch them into the standings, but 5 teams out of the top 10 come from that OAA Red Division. Saline has a chance to win the SEC Red Division this week. They're in the upper bracket of that conference tournament. They tied Ann Arbor Skyline here 2 weeks ago, 0-0. If they can get past Skyline, that's kind of been their bugaboo the last couple of school years. They should win the SEC Red, and Skyline mathematically can also win that conference as well if they can pull an upset over Saline. Rockford, we haven't talked about them in the last couple of weeks. They only gave up 6 goals last year. At this point, they've only given up 6 goals this year, and 4 of those 6 goals were allowed in their first 4 games. So they're trying to win the Ottawa-Kent Conference Red Division for a 2nd straight season. Stu Quackenbush has a very, very talented defensive team, and they're another side that could make a deep run here in the postseason.
Yeah, we only have one, maybe 2 weeks left of our ranking show as we're getting down to the wire. What are your early predictions, Dan?
It's hard to make predictions, especially in Division I and Division II. You'll point out the OA Red has had the last 3 state champions in Division I. However, none of those teams won the actual regular season conference championship. 4 years ago, Troy Athens got to the finals, and they were in 2nd place in the league. They lost to Heartland that season, but that's 4 straight years that the OA Reds put a team in the state championships, but didn't have the conference champion advancing that far. And then you look at a league like that and a lot of other leagues, it's so tight. There's a lot of 1-goal games, and you just can't sometimes predict who will escape when you get in the district and regional rounds.
This is when things really get exciting. But everyone, that is all we have for your Michigan High School Girls Soccer Ranking Show on the National Soccer Network, presented by Just Lab for Week 6. We will see you next week. From myself, from my partner, Dan Stickrat, our producer, Jonathan Turner, we thank you all for tuning in, and happy Mother's Day, everyone.